Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, happy Friday. Today, we're going to talk about where Bitcoin is in this cycle now that we're past the halving event. And also, let's talk about everything else that's going on today. Let's keep it loose and lively since it is a Friday. All right, let's do it. Welcome, guys. We're starting out the day not bad. I just realized my price on here is cut off. Let's fix that right there. So we're starting out the day 67.2, 67.3. We're slowly climbing up a little bit higher than last night, right? We are still trying to recover from what has happened this week with the FOMC meeting and with some of the economic data that we have received, right? We got conflicting data, and even Powell has called it out. So I think Wall Street is still trying to figure out what is happening, right? And what more to expect. So this morning, we're starting out, U.S. market is starting out in the red, not so good. You know, and other countries besides the U.S. is still trying to figure it out too. We know central banks around the world right now are thinking, should we cut or should we not? ECB in Canada decided to cut. Bank of Japan, I should say, is not cutting. And the U.S. obviously, Powell just said, we're not cutting, but we don't know for how long, right? It's going to happen. He said there's going to be at least one cut. So is that coming next month, September? We don't know. We don't know. But what we do know is this: you can't trust any of these guys, okay? You can't trust any of these central banks. You can't trust any government out there that has a money printer that allows them to print unlimited amount of money at any time, right? Just think about it. Would you trust someone? Would you trust someone's currency, let's say your neighbor's currency, right? If he or she can print out unlimited amount of whatever currency that they have. Just like IOUs. You do, you know, let's say your brother-in-law or whoever, right, is always asking for favors and giving you IOUs on a sheet of paper. At what point do you stop taking them, right? It's kind of the same as fiat. If someone can print out unlimited amount of fiat, why would you trust that fiat? Why would you hold it, right? You need something better, something that can't be manipulated like fiat, and that is Bitcoin. Okay, so I mean, a lot of the economic data come out this week, you know, this week and last week, mixed, you know, it's just a really weird thing, okay? It's a really weird thing. Now, unfortunately though, because of what happened this week, we have some fear. We have some FUD. Yesterday, ETFs had a massive outflow of 226 million. Unfortunately, we had 2 days now this week, 200 plus million outflow, right? BlackRock is the only one holding strong and still posting a net inflow. So that tells you something about BlackRock versus everyone else. On down days, it does seem like all the other funds besides IBIT does sell off. However, BlackRock's doesn't. So there's something going on there. You would figure BlackRock would be selling like everyone else, but they are not, because Larry Fink, I believe, has special plans. And that's why they are different. And I know even IBIT is a fund, and technically there should be inflow and outflow and so forth. But so far, it's just inflow, and everything that Grayscale have sold just goes directly into IBIT. There's something weird there, okay? But regardless, despite yesterday's outflow, we still have massive amount of Bitcoin in these ETFs. We're talking about tens of billions, soon to be hundreds of billions, and soon to be trillions sitting in these ETFs. So if you're smart and you realize you can't trust money printers printing fiat all day long, well, then you'll be buying Bitcoin or Bitcoin ETFs, regardless. I mean, spot ETFs, the next best thing, right? And also, it appears that there are some miners that are also selling right now. So some of you guys may have wondered why is Bitcoin not moving up for the past 3 months, even though the ETFs are having massive inflows? Well, the answer could be the miners are actually selling. And, you know, if you don't know anything about the miners, you would think, well, this is pretty bearish, right? The miners are selling. That means they're getting out, and that means everyone should be getting out. Well, that's not the thing here. I remember, since I've been through some of these cycles, we see periods of time where this happens, especially after the halving event, because people don't realize the halving event puts a tremendous pressure on the miners. In fact, double the pressure, meaning they have to double the equipment, double the hash rate to just make the same amount they did before. That's why it's called a halving event, because the block reward for Bitcoin gets cut in half. Half. Not just a little bit, not just 5 or 10%, 50% drop in terms of reward. So that's why the miners, they have it the hardest. Every time we have a halving event, they basically have to figure out, well, what do we do, right? Do we double our capacity or do we increase our capacity? Now, a lot of the big guys can do that because they're publicly traded. They have shares. They could sell stock. But a lot of the smaller miners cannot, and they can't. They really struggle to compete with the bigger miners, and a lot of them are forced to sell Bitcoin, right? So we're seeing a little slight dip right now with the hash rate, which means there are some miners that are definitely turning off their mining rigs and possibly selling, right? But, you know, this is only a zoomed in chart. When you zoom out, you'll just see like a hash rate that just does this. Same thing with difficulty, that just does this. No, it does not mean the miners are giving up. Does not mean the Bitcoin network is going to stop anytime soon. No, it just means that this is a really hard time. A lot of people forgot that we just got through a halving event just 2 months ago. It wasn't like the halving event was last year. So there will be periods like this where some miners do struggle and they're forced to sell because they need the money to survive, basically, or to expand their operations or buy more equipment. That seems the most like the most logical thing that's going on right now. That's why even with the massive inflows going into the ETFs, it's being countered by the miners. But you know what? That's going to be over soon, okay? Because eventually when Bitcoin picks up again, these smaller miners are going to be more profitable and they're not going to need to sell off. So, but yeah, that kind of actually makes a lot of sense if you think about it. Now, this is what's interesting, okay? So this is what I used in my thumbnail. Now, you may be wondering, well, that doesn't look like our current chart. You know, our current chart, you know, where's the 16,000 and all that stuff? No, this is just after the halving event, okay? So this is not showing the full effect of the last cycle going down and then now we're recovering up and, you know, we've broken through, right? This is just showing you what happens after the halving event from our previous cycles. Now, if you know nothing about Bitcoin and you're just a random bystander and you're looking at this and you're asked, is this a good time to be investing in Bitcoin? What would your answer be? Because I know what mine would be. Mine would be yes, hell yes. This is absolutely the best time to be investing in Bitcoin because it is right before it starts going up in a parabolic way. That is exactly where we are. That's exactly where we are. This is, of course, zoomed out, so it's going to take a little bit of time. But once it starts moving, it's not going to stop. It's just going to keep on going. So that's the thing. You know, it's like right now, no one should be bearish. No one should be panicking because look at where we are in the cycle. Now that we're past the halving event, we still have a lot of catalysts for this year. And the best part is, this is not the last year of the cycle. 2025 is. So everything from this year, as great as it has been, is going to get even greater. So that's what's so exciting about right now. This is definitely the time to be in the market and definitely the time to be buying those dips. We do have dips, a lot of dips, all the time on our way up. Like this example, our current cycle is mimicking the 2017 cycle very, very closely, which means the higher we go, the more dips we're going to see. And we just got through a pretty significant dip. I think it was 25% going down to 56,000, right? We have recovered from that and we are going to go higher. Once we hit 80 and 90K, we may have another 20-something% dip. Once we break through 100,000 plus, yeah, we're going to have more dips. So bottom line is, these dips are normal and you got to think of them as gifts, okay? It's hard to buy something when it keeps on going up forever. So anytime Bitcoin stops, consolidates, dips down, that's when you should look at it as a gift. This is how I'm going to get into Bitcoin, or this is how I'm going to get into Solana, or this is how I'm going to get into Ethereum, right? With the dips, think of them as gifts because a lot more gifts are coming. This guy right here takes advantage of all the gifts that we're given, okay? Bernstein says Bitcoin could hit 1 million within the next 10 years as it initiates coverage of MicroStrategy, which is a strategy that all companies should be studying right now, okay? But Michael Saylor, he takes advantage of the dips. He continues to DCA, and he just recently said that I'll be buying Bitcoin when it's $8 million, not million in his portfolio, $8 million each. So what about 9 million? Maybe he's going to stop at 8 million, or maybe he's just making that up. But I do think that Bitcoin will be in the millions probably within 10, 15, 20 years, right? I don't know about when it's going to hit $8 million. If we go through hyperinflation, which looks like it could be the case, then yeah, maybe $8 million is around the corner. Okay, keep in mind, inflation is not going to stop. It's only going to get worse. And the money supply of USD keeps on being inflated like 5, 10, 15% year over year over year over year. It compounds to hundreds of thousands of percent over, let's say, the next 15, 20 years. Then everything will be super, super pricey. And that helps assets. It drives asset prices upward. So if you think 1 million Bitcoin or 8 million Bitcoin is unfathomable and it's just outrageous, well, just wait 20 years and see how much a loaf of bread is, or how much a Happy Meal is at McDonald's, or how expensive a car or a house is. Then maybe you'll think otherwise, right? But basically this guy, he knows what's going on. And that recent announcement that MicroStrategy is going to raise $500 million, well, that's been upped to $700 million because demand is so vast. There are so many companies that are buying these convertible notes of MicroStrategy because why not? The Bitcoin strategy is working and the stock keeps on going upwards. Here's something interesting. Like I said, all public trade companies should follow the Bitcoin strategy. Max Kaiser says GME should do the same thing. They have a lot of cash on the side. And if they just do the same thing that Saylor has done, which is to announce that they're going to utilize that cash and buy Bitcoin and hold on their balance sheet, GME stock could go up to 1,000 according to Max Kaiser. And then think about Roaring Kitty becoming the face. He already is, but he's becoming the Saylor of the secondary Saylor, but leading GME, right? I mean, that's actually a really good idea. Not that this is a new idea, but I've said this, you know, since Roaring Kitty himself doesn't want to talk about Bitcoin and crypto, but imagine if GME does, and it kind of just forces them to become a Bitcoin maxi, because now GME is now utilizing their extra cash or raising cash to buy Bitcoin with. That would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing, and could make GME a big powerhouse, just like MicroStrategy in the future. That's a wild idea, and they should really, really entertain it. I mean, there's no downside to the Bitcoin strategy now. Every single company that announced that they're buying Bitcoin and holding it in the treasury has shot up to the moon. Every single one across the world. So, like, there's no downside to doing that now. I don't know why. Maybe they're working on it. They really should. I mean, it's a proven strategy now, right? Anyways, whale population is starting to go up once again, right? Kind of dipped down after March, and then now it's going back up. And why that is bullish is because when whale population goes up, that generally means that big moves are coming, right? Either caused by them, or they know something that retail don't, or they're simply buying the dip because everyone else is scared. Retail gets scared off, and that's when the whales come in, right? So whale activity is going up, address is going up, number of whales going up, all fantastic. Short term, of course, we're still waiting for a breakout. Here's an inverse head and shoulders pattern. There's a lot of patterns, a broadening wedge pattern, a bullish flag pattern. We have a lot of metrics that show that Bitcoin is about to go higher. Even last night, I showed one. We have a squeeze going on. Bollinger Bands hasn't been this squeezed since when Bitcoin was $5. Think about that. Okay, so this is definitely the time in this cycle to be buying. And you could argue just anytime, really. But especially now, we're right at the cusp of something enormous. So you got to stay in the game at the very least. All right. Outside of Bitcoin, anything else? Not really. A couple Solana news. Solana Labs debut this new loyalty platform called Bond, where you're getting all these like virtual items, right? Nothing too exciting, but along with Solana, I saw this. You have a rapper that tattoos Solana on his forehead. So does that mean we're at a cycle top? Hopefully not. Hopefully not. That's just wild. You know, that's just wild if you ask me. But anyways, yeah, and that's pretty much it. And then, yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got for you guys. All right, let's do some Q&A. Happy Friday, everyone. Let me scroll up. Let's see. Did I miss anything? Looks like someone said BlackRock is hard AF. Don't sell your coins to BlackRock. I 100% agree with that. BlackRock is not selling anything. They're buying everything. All the dips. Law, $2 super chat. Appreciate it. More Laza. I think the next exciting meme is Sabe for the People. Looks very promising. Could you check it out? First of all, that's a horrible name. When it comes to meme, you gotta have something. You gotta, if nothing else, you gotta have a good name. What is Sabe? Save for the people, 11 days. Well, I don't know. Salt Bay for the people? That's what it is? This does not look exciting at all, man. I know you're trying to pump your bag, but that doesn't look very exciting. Nor is the name, nor is the meme. That's actually a horrible name. Why don't you just call it Salt Bay? Why would you name it Salt Bay for the people? Irma says, George, I'll make a cock tattoo on your forehead. My preference is not to get that. How long do we have to DCA before next boom? Hey, it could come anytime. It could come today. It could come next week. It could come next month. I'm thinking that we're not going to see a real explosion until probably September timeframe. So from now to September, we'll have a lot of choppiness, some up and down movement. Doesn't mean that we can't trend upwards. This certainly does not mean that we can't trend up and break into a new high like at 75, 80K. But I think when we hit September, that's when we start shooting up in a big way and we can end up the year like above six figures, 120, 125. I think that's certainly possible by the end of the year. Lion in my pocket, please DCA into real assets and not meme coins. Yeah, you know, DCA into meme coins doesn't normally work out well. If you want to buy a meme because you're a degen, that's fine. But, you know, there's things to look at. You know, like that beer coin, okay, just like absolutely got destroyed, went down like 50% at one point because the founders who owned 50% of the supply decided to sell, and no one knew that. So had you been DCing into that, you probably would not have done well. So, I mean, with the memes, it's like they're lottery tickets. If you hit one, great, take your profit. Some of them could keep on going, like Brett just kept on going, and it's amazing, you know, for anyone that held, but most of them do not. Most of them never get that high. Most of them just kind of crap out, and then people get disinterested and move to something else. So just be careful with them. You King Mike, if you wanted best returns this bull run, Stacks, Jupiter, Link can choose only one. I would choose probably. Whew, it's mixed between Stacks and Jupiter. I think they both will kill it. I don't know. Stacks I think is bigger than Jupiter already, so I would go with Jupiter, but Stacks could definitely be leading. Stacks is 3 billion. Jupiter is 1.2. Yeah, I would pick Jupiter then. Although Stacks is so strong, you know, it's toss up. I'd pick those two. Like Chainlink is probably gonna be stagnant compared to those two. Have you noticed more celebrities are mentioning crypto on Twitter? I'm thinking cycle top end of the year, getting 2021 vibes. No. You gotta realize that every cycle that we go through, there's going to be more adoption and intention, right? Like literally, even kids know about Bitcoin now. In 2017, still no one knew about Bitcoin. So the generation is different. Celebrities, of course, a lot of them are younger. They're going to be more involved with crypto going forward. So you can't use that as a judgment, I don't think. There's zero reason to think that the cycle top is in 2024. Zero. You think all the ETFs, everyone that bought a Bitcoin ETF is going to sell at end of 2024? No, that's no chance of that. Defendable, I'm not going to check it. Because you said that last night too. And that is not a good name either. Betty Blue Eyes, do you know the Cybertruck has a new FSM implemented or the system update on its own? It does update on its own. You mean FSD? I don't know what FSM is, but as far as I know, the Cybertruck still doesn't have FSD yet. What celebrity meme coin would you buy? Doesn't have to be one that's out, but if it came out, what would you buy? That's a good question. I guess I would buy like Elon. If Elon came out with a coin called Elon, I would buy that. Because I know that would go to billions. Billions upon billions upon billions. He'll make a Elon coin like equal to Doge, basically. So if that ever came out, I would buy that. S2 Chroma says, speaking of Cybertruck, I listed mine and bring a trailer. You're selling yours already? You're going to lose money, man. Cybertruck aftermarket prices are tanking right now. After fees, you're probably gonna lose money. Bring a trailer, like how much you had to pay for that? It has to be a certain percentage, right? And then you pay taxes on yours, so that means you probably at least spent $110,000 plus fees. That means you have to sell it for at least $130,000. I'm assuming to even break even. There's too many owners that are just taking delivery and selling it. The aftermarket for Cybertrucks is going to get crushed soon. Lars, how do you like your Cybertruck? Someone else yesterday said they picked theirs up. I mean, I still like think that they look great, but you know, again, I'm still afraid of everything else. And I can't fit in my garage. I wouldn't want to. So if I got one, I have to park outside, which means I have to get like a charger installed outside. That was my original plan, to install a charger outside so I could just keep the Cybertruck outside. But, you know, it's probably going to draw too much attention. Every single person in the neighborhood is going to come by and look at it. If you make it to the next Taipei crypto event, a bottle of Blue Label's on me. I appreciate that. I don't know when the next Taipei blockchain event is. I don't really hear about it, but I wouldn't mind going. I have relatives there. Daniel, I don't mean a ticker Elon created by someone else. I mean like Elon himself created it. Like, and he's backing and supporting it. Let's see. Ooh, Nasdaq's turning green. Today could be a good day. Could be a good day. MicroStrategy is building the world's largest Bitcoin company. Well, that's, of course. Hey, Putin sets conditions for peace talks. That could be a big catalyst too if that ends. Let's see. Coin is down a little bit. GME is up a little bit. Nvidia's up. Microsoft up. Apple's down. What's MSTR? MicroStrategy's up. Cigar attach I'll be in Taipei in August for is that World Poker Tournament? How is it? How is it to play in the world, in any of those big, I guess, poker tournaments? Like, when you play with friends or whatever, you're playing for fun. It lasts a couple hours, but when you're playing a tournament that lasts like days upon days, and you're playing like all night, it must get very tiresome. And you just at some points you just like, F it, I'm just gonna go all in or whatever. Like you go bluff. Those world tournament for pokers, or what do you call it? WPS, World Poker. I don't even know the official name, but like if any of you guys have played that, you gotta chime in. Like that must be so hard to play in. Uh, Howdy Twin Turbo. I do play turbo. I do play poker. I'm not a pro at it. I like to think I'm decent. Next time Karate Combat has one of those poker things, I'm definitely going for sure. World Series of Poker, that's what it is. WSOP. Total physical and mental drain. Yeah, I don't get how like players could play for like 8 hours or 10 hours or whatever. Uh, I hope you don't retire before I do, so I have time. I can't promise that. I'm probably gonna retire, but then I'll still probably do like my Sunday walk videos, or something, right? I'll probably just like do a few videos a week. Maybe I'll just do nothing but Sunday walk videos, and then I'll be working on IFC. Jamal says, great bar in the beginning, George, about not trusting neighbors. I owe yours. Couldn't be explained more simple. Everyone should cut and repost that part, or you should make it short. I don't actually know which part you're talking about, but feel free to make it short if you want. Asia Blockchain Summit, August 6th to 8th. Taipei, Taiwan, make it happen. I mean, that's tough. I can't do that. That's actually what I'm going to travel, so yeah, I don't think I can make that. And I'm pretty sure like there won't be a lot of people at that Asian Blockchain Summit. Sunday walk videos from your yacht, yeah. I'll just walk around the yacht and chat. I'm not a big boat person, to be honest. Like I don't know. Not a big boat person, not a big private jet person, I guess, but I'm just not rich enough for that. Maybe one day I just get a private jet just for a tax deduction. I don't know. Brent, Focus RS, too old. Civic Type R or WRX STI Type R. Out of those three, Type R for sure. WRX STI wouldn't even consider at this point. So just get a nice Type R. You'll be happy with it. I've been to Taipei before. I've been to Taiwan, man. It's not like I haven't. It's just it's been a while. It's been a while. Jose, what do you think of a 2x ETH ETF called ETHU? 2x of ETH grayscale. I mean, leverage ETFs are definitely coming out. They have leverage futures ETFs already for Bitcoin, I believe. But spot, I don't know if they can make that happen. Maybe. I'm sure that they'll come out with leveraged ETFs based on spot ETFs. Sure. I don't know why you're asking about names, though. New type says, I like the Acura Type S, but unfortunately it's front-wheel drive. Yeah, I mean, so is the Type R. But, you know, Honda's the best at optimizing a front-wheel drive. You know, a hot rocket, I guess. I haven't driven it, but the inside is very close to Type R. It's a little bit more luxurious. I do think the Type S looks better. I'm not thrilled with the new Type R looks. So if you want something that's with a little bit more class and fun, I'm thinking the Type R is the way to go. But it's really expensive. It's 50,000 plus. It's 55,000, and honestly, for 55,000, you could get a lot with that. For a daily driver, I don't know if you could get a better $55,000 car that's fun. Because you could get like a Model Y for less than that now. You get a Model 3 for less than... You could get a Model 3 Performance for that price. And I think that would be a pretty good daily car if you're okay to just having an EV car. Thank you for that super chat, Rodder Dammer 1908. Get a Sprinter van to travel with your family, road trip, tailgating, and chill place to hang out. You know, I thought about that, just the RV, right? But Sprinter van's probably more practical, so you could actually park it and go anywhere, right? So I've thought about that, but you know, I can't drive for more than like 2 hours because then I start falling asleep. That's my biggest problem. Before I can drive much longer. Now if I'm driving more than 2 hours, I get too sleepy and I can't do it. Benny Blue Eyes, no, I did not block your super chat. I don't even have the ability to block super chats. That's not even a thing. I can block people, but I can't block super chats. That's what it looks like short term. Real boss man, I'm liquidated. It's all over. I got nothing left. How will I rebuild before takeoff? I've been kicked out of the bull run. Real boss man, I'm sorry to hear that. I've always said, you know, leverage is very dangerous. Most people lose money in leverage, right? You got to just figure out how to pick yourself back up and don't get addicted to it. It's harder said than done because a lot of people, once they play, they do get addicted to it, and I still play it often. But you gotta play smarter, set limits, set stop losses, and don't go too greedy. Don't go too much into leverage, and more importantly, you never put all in. You only put a fraction, a very little fraction of your portfolio in. So that way, yeah, even if you get liquidated, it doesn't harm your long-term portfolio. It sounds like that's not what you did, but I'm sorry to hear that. Pick yourself back up. Find yourself a second job, side hustle, right? And get back in. How high do you think Arweave can go? Probably back to its previous high. I think they're still doing good things, so back to their previous high. Jose is asking, my crypto and exchange or putting a wallet? Of course, wallet is the best way to do it. There are so many free wallets. You don't even need to purchase the hardware wallet. There are so many great mobile wallets, browser wallets now. Throw in a wallet. Just make sure you safeguard your private phrase. Why is it so hard? Stat bullish right now? Are you trying to say why is it so hard to stay bullish right now? It's not hard. I'm bullish. I don't know why it's hard for you to stay bullish. That's truly true. Baby faith, that's what most people do. I have done that many times. Babyface said, you only lose when you give up and just have to take on more leverage to make up for leverage you lost. Yeah, that's what most people do. Because it's like gambling, right? It's like you lose whatever you had at blackjack, and now you're playing again to kind of make up for it. And most people do. Sometimes you're successful. Sometimes it just costs you to lose more. Joshua, Sol versus ETH from here to peak. You know, I hate to say it, but I think ETH will probably lead because of the ETFs. Once that starts trading in September, I think there will be a lot more buying going on. But then, you know what? Once we hear about BlackRock and Fidelity throwing in their application for Sol ETFs, that's when you're going to see it skyrocket. Sol will still do very well even without ETFs. But we get any inclination that these big fund companies want a Sol ETF, it's going to drive it much higher. Ninebreaker says, the faster you try to get rich, the faster you lose it. That's true. That is actually true. Am I bullish on XRP Ledger? No, I'm not. Brian, I can't tell you what to do with your Matic, man. You have to figure it out. Figure out if you're going to buy something else, keep it, continue DCAing. I will say that I've been hearing more, I wouldn't say troubling, but more news about Polygon recently that makes me a little more hesitant about them. I'll say that. But they're not that off. Their performance is not that off versus their peers right now. So in a bull market, everything will go up. A lot of people are asking about Fed. Am I still bullish on it? Yeah, nothing has changed. Just because the merger got delayed by a month, nothing has changed. Even if they don't merge, I think still Fetch AI is a great AI play. So a lot of people are asking about that. Just chill. Just chill. Fetch is, in my DCA portfolio, Fetch is probably one of the best, if not the best performing crypto in my DCA portfolio. Last time I checked, it was still up like 300%. Question, is Charles Hoskinson going to buy another private jet with the donations from the ADA holders? Did he get a private jet? I mean, he could afford it. He's a billionaire. He's been around for a long time. But I didn't know. Like, I only see him in his office. I never see him anywhere else. Can you name another BTC L2 you're bullish on? I'm not bullish on L2s for Bitcoin. I'm not really bullish on development of Bitcoin at all. I'm not against them, but I'm not bullish on them. I just don't think Bitcoin needs them. I think we got plenty of other chains that supports all the other initiatives. Bitcoin should stay a store of value. However, with that said, stacks. I mean, Lightning Network is a big L2. Obviously, it's being used by wallets now, exchanges and payments, but they don't have a they don't have a token. Stacks is L2 for development, and I think they're the most bullish. Are Cybertrucks prone to rust all over? I don't know about if it's like rust or just like weird marks from chemicals or salt or whatever. But if I ever got a Cybertruck, I would wrap it for sure. I would wrap it or put PPF on it or whatever. I'd do something. I wouldn't just leave it stainless steel. But I'm waiting. I think if we wait like another 3 months, you go see secondary, you go see used Cybertrucks being sold for below the 100,000. It's getting close. You're starting to see some being sold for like 110, 115. Pretty soon you're going to start seeing them being sold for under 100. And then if you could actually find one for like 80K or something, then it might be worth it. I just don't want to get it and see the depreciation happen. Because I've lost too much money in every single Tesla I've ever bought. All right, guys. I think that's it. That's a wrap. This is where we are in the cycle. Okay, now that we're past the halving cycle or halving event, I should say, right? So this is definitely not time to be getting out. This is the time to be buying. The most bullish parabolic phase of the 4-year cycle is where we are now. So stay strong, my friends. I'll see you guys on Monday. Sunday walk video still coming out. Dirty Degens tonight. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I forgot I stream on Saturday. I'll see you guys tomorrow. 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Have a good rest of your Friday and take care.